Hi, I'm Damion, and today I want to look into the Oxford rental home nightmare we're having at the moment. So Oxfordshire needs 537 additional private rented properties per year to keep up with current and future demand from Oxfordshire tenants. Yet over the last 5 years, Oxford has lost 1,086 private rented homes. So today I want to look into what are the 5 reasons that the supply of private rental properties in Oxfordshire are falling, and what does this mean for tenants and landlords in Oxfordshire. So there's been a rise in demand for rental properties and a 9% fall in the number of Oxfordshire private rented properties, which has caused Oxfordshire rents to rise by almost 6% in the last year, which is an all-time high. The National Residential Landlords Association asked the respected economics think tank, the Capital Economics, to carry out research on the UK rental market, and actually found that if the current trends in the property market in terms of growth of the population, Brits living longer, the lack of new homes building, the reduction in social housing, council houses, then demand for homes in the private rented sector needs to increase by 227,000 homes per year. So based on those numbers, we need another 537 private rental properties per year. And the problem is the number of private rented properties in Oxfordshire has reduced from 20,000 to 19,000, which is a net loss of over 1,086. So why is the supply of private rented homes in Oxfordshire reduced? So number 1, Section 24 income tax. Section 24 was basically introduced in 2017 as a level playing field on the taxation of property between homeowners and landlords. The Section 24 stops landlords from offsetting their buy-to-let mortgage costs against the profits from their rental property. And interestingly, no other kind of UK business is affected by the Section 24 taxation. So in other words, whatever other form of business you might be in, be it a butcher, a baker, or candlestick maker, every other business can offset their finances against their profits except buy to let. So the issue caused by Section 24 tax is that some landlords ended up paying more income tax than they actually even made profit after paying their buy to let mortgages, meaning on the back of the rising Oxfordshire house price in the last 5 years, some Oxford landlords have sold their buy to let investments. Number 2, 3% more stamp duty for landlords. When someone buys a property, they normally must pay a tax to the government for the privilege. This tax is called stamp duty, yet landlords must pay an additional 3% stamp duty as a supplement on top of that when they purchase an Oxfordshire buy-to-let property. And evidence suggests that some Oxford landlords have decided to hold off for a scale back by an additional buy-to-let property for their portfolio because of the thousands of extra pounds that landlords have to pay to buy the rental property. Number 3 is the holiday and Airbnb lets. So some Oxfordshire landlords are converting their long-term rental properties into short-term furnished holiday and Airbnb properties. Whilst the hassle, stress and service levels are much higher, these types of properties do tend to make more money and aren't as heavily taxed as normal lets. When properties convert to short-term lets, it removes another Oxfordshire property out of the general supply chain of long-term rental properties. Number 4, greater legislation for rental properties. So with more than 150 pieces of legislation and new laws being added each year, the burden on landlords is huge. On the horizon is the Renters Reform Bill, which will remove the no-fault evictions. Also, all rental properties with an energy performance certificate rating below a C will have to be improved, so money needs to be spent on them by the landlord. This could be more than £10,000 per property, hence why some Oxfordshire landlords have been selling their rental properties with low EPC ratings in the last year and a half. So number 5, the accidental landlords selling up. So there are some landlords who are classed as accidental landlords. So in 2008-2009, with a slowing property market and house price values dropping in the order of 16 to 19%, depending on the type of property, some Oxfordshire homeowners decided to let their home out as opposed to selling it at a loss. Yet with the price booms of the last 18 months, many decided to cash in on the higher property prices and sell, again taking another private rental property out of the system. So why is demand of private rented homes in Oxfordshire increasing, even though more people own their home in Oxfordshire more than 5 years ago? So even with better provision of affordable social housing and higher rates of occupation in Oxford, rising from 46% of homes in Oxfordshire being occupied in 2017 to 48.5% in 2021, demand for private rental property continues to outstrip supply. There are many reasons behind this, including people, they're living longer, meaning not so many properties are coming back into the mix to be recycled for the younger generation. Number 2, net migration to the UK has continued at just over 250,000 people a year since 2017, meaning we need an additional 115,000 households to house them alone. Number 3, for the last 2 years, 1 in 6 of the owners of properties that have been sold have moved into rental accommodation instead of buying on, obviously because of the pure lack of supply. So what is the outcome of the imbalance between supply and demand on Oxfordshire rental properties? Well, it's pretty simple. Oxfordshire rents have rocketed. They're 6.1% higher today than the spring of last year, and that's on the back of rents being 6.3% higher in spring 2020 compared to the year before. So the severe shortage of housing in the private rented sector is pushing up rents in Oxfordshire as demand continues to grow. Many Oxfordshire people are finding it hard to work to find appropriate accommodation at a reasonable rent, and with mounting numbers of tenants predicted to continue, this situation will only get worse unless more houses are built. So my heart obviously goes out to those Oxfordshire tenants struggling with a cost of living crisis, only then to be hit by higher rates. Yet these higher rents are now enticing new landlords back into the Oxfordshire buy-to-let market because of the higher returns. So with higher inflation, property investment has been seen in the past as a safe harbour to invest one's money in, with a bonus of rising yields because of the increase in rents, together with the nervousness of the Bank of England to increase interest rates too much because of the issues in Eastern Europe. This could be the start of a second renaissance in the Oxford buy-to-let market. If you've got any concerns about the issues in legislation and taxation, then the advantage of employing a letting agent with a choice of property, what you pay for it and how it's managed will go a long way to mitigate them. I hope this is helpful. This is Damion from Luxury Property Partners.